Shanta Prasad ji, also known as Uday Maharaj. And Amit Bhai and me have a long association of playing together because in my solo days and my particular love of the Banaras Gharana tabla, it's a very bold, masculine style, as you can see from him. And we'll talk after we play some music, because that's what we like to do more than talking, is to be playing music for y'all. So we'll begin with something. As you can see, I have a double neck guitar here, and as was told before, my journey started with guitar. I grew up in Juhu, Bombay, and I was very fortunate to study guitar with some great musicians when I was a kid and to perform. And then the music of India, rather classical Indian music, really, because I come from a family of classical musicians, so I didn't want to be that much of an outlier. And I started to study Sarod pretty seriously, because at that point, there wasn't a style of playing this music on the electric guitar that I wanted to develop, the sound I heard in my head. Of course, there are great musicians. I just performed in Goa with the great Vishwabhan Bhaji, and he's obviously been someone that's shown us the way. But for my generation, the electric guitar was always something that I personally enjoyed more. And it is a developing style. And I always like to say, when I'm playing festivals all over the world, that I am a child of two worlds musically, both Indian and Western. Because being a New Yorker and also being an Indian American, I've had the good fortune of playing with the great jazz musicians of our time and studying classical, rather modern classical, impressionist music from Europe, and of course jazz from America. And we'll begin with something more classical, rather. It's in my mind to play this beautiful raga known as Puriya Dhanashri. It's an evening raga. It's sort of dark and mysterious. I'll play what is known as an alap and jod, which are the first two movements of the raga. And then Amit Bhai will join me in the rhythm cycle known as Chaptal, which is a 10-beat cycle. And followed by Tintal, which is a 16-beat cycle. We'll play sort of medium fast, and then we'll play Amit Bhai style fast. And then if you have any questions right after we perform, do not hesitate to ask. And at some point, we would all love that Amit Bhai talks about the Banaras Gharana, and especially about Shanta Prasad ji, because a lot of people nowadays really don't know who he was, and it's important to put that name back on the tabla. It's like a boom on this. It's almost like I have a kick drum on my voice. But hey, Salman ji, can you bring that boom down? Because you don't want to. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, we'll get on with the music first, and Rag Puriya Dhanashri. Thank you.
Concert tour, as was he. So we just were friends and we met.
with the voice. Kadina, kadina, kadina.
Like you recite your soul with your tongue.
Of course, I'm assuming a lot of you are familiar with Dal and the concept of, again, show of hands. Please, there you go. So obviously, you ma'am know that Chap Dal is a 10-beat cycle, and what is known as Khanda Jati in the south, which is a 5-beat cycle. So I was recently in Bangalore for the VLR Hamba Festival because I was invited by Shakti, we lost Zakarji, and he was a part of Shakti for years, so I was very honored that they invited me to play a Shakti concert in Bangalore with the next generation, which we represent. But it's always interesting how Zakarji and Vikuji spoke that language because now Swami Sampradayesh and I work, and along with, so if he's thinking 5, he's like if a double player's thinking in 10. It's always double. And in the sound system, there is no Kali system. Dali and Kali, which is very important in this music. You see the show of hands or all these gestures, and it's not just trying to be cool, it's actually got a purpose. So the Kali, which is very special, I would say endemic to North Indian music, is what divides the beat in half. This is genius whoever came up with this. Ganesh came up with this. It's purely genius because, for example, we picked Chap Dal to play in Korea Tanashri, and we improvised for a good 25 minutes or whatever. It's because we both have that rhythmic cycle embedded in us, whether it's the Tihais or the because I'm very fond of Banaras and around the same, so I always tell them by the Utan. So he takes this beautiful Utan and we'll work through it. But that Kali system is extremely important for you guys to understand. The ones that know, but for the ones that don't know, who are always in the majority, including me, I don't know anything. So, one thing with Chap Dal is, just show us how Chap Dal is played.
So that's 10 beats. That's how we started. The first composition was. So it was
it is Chap Dal not just because it's 10 beats. Yeah. It's because of that particular blow instruction when you just sang. So again, go back to Chap Dal. So as you can see, the tabla itself is not just a rhythm. There's so much melody in there because it's tuned to the tonic. Whereas in the southern drums, the mridangam, of course, but the kanjira is not one of my favorite drums. And why kanjira players are so internationally famous is they don't have to tune to anything. Which makes it so diverse. It's just, everything is cool. For me, I embrace it all. Do it all. So that was Chap Dal. Now let's talk about some compositions in Chap Dal. How they're special in the Banaras era.
Particularly playing style is different in Banaras. We use 2 fingers. Best of all 5. Banaras 5 style what we have. They use mostly 2 fingers on tabla. Let's say tete kata gadigina. So they play like that. But when we play with Banaras, this bring fingers together and it becomes more sound impact. It's much bigger than other Gharana. Because Banaras style came from Pakawash, everybody knows Pakawash. So it
that's the double-headed drum that's used in Drupad, which is the alap that I was playing had more Drupad in it, and it's a slightly more devotional tempo.
Like when you play Western music, do does it come across as more rigid, or like when you compare it to Indian classical, Hindustani classical, it has more flow. And does Western come across as more rigid to you while playing?
Rigid in what sense?
I do feel Indian classical music also has structure, but it allows the flexibility in between. So, but when you're playing Western, I don't know, for some reason I feel it is very rigid. Like the way you played the chord, it was very sharp. This note, it was very sharp, and when you played it on the guitar, so it was more melodic and at the same time softer. So in that sense, do you think?
Well, think about it this way, Radhika. Are you still doing music?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What do you play? Do you sing?
Yes, I was studying in Hindustani classical. But I'm also playing the piano. I was also learning Bharatanatyam. So when you said Kushal Chate, so that was something I also wanted to.
You could relate, yeah. Okay. Do you want to ask the question, or should I?
No, yeah, you can go ahead and ask.
I don't think any music is rigid, so like that's a very easy answer to it. But I'll unpack it. If you actually flip it, Indian music can be way more constraining. Because you're given these seven, in this case Puriya Dhanashri, 7 notes, but of course they're all of jati, 5 note ragas, 6 note ragas, and you have a tambura. So you fix yourself with the key, you cannot go outside. Every instrument, every voice has a specific range and key, so
Yes.
so there's that fixed thing right there. You are rigid to that. Because suddenly, for example, this is in the key of E, which is like a split D, right? So I cannot move away from that.
Right.
Because it's like I said, it's a melodic and a rhythm tradition. So the tonic, the sound never moves, right? The sound is always fixed in Indian music. All the shrutis and etc. you can embellish, and though that itself has a lot of technicalities that we don't have to get into right now. But and then you have that fixed tone. So again, there is a limitation. There's a rigidity of the raga, and the raga police. If I was going to Puriya Kalyan, they'd be like, oh, you did not play. That kind of, we all dealt with that. But raga police, wow, I should patent that. Raga police, come on, that was pretty good. So there is no rigidity in the expression of Indian music. Because through that limitation, you're creating so much. You can play. For the hand of a skilled musician, or other can be performed, sang, played, whatever, 3 hours. For example, he was playing Chaptal, 10 beats he cannot go out of it. He's got to stay in it. But in his hands, he can play a solo for God all night. He play. So it really depends on the musician and the training. Western music, in fact, in many ways, again, let's qualify what Western music is. The West is a pretty big place. I don't we're talking German music, we're talking French music, we're talking American jazz, we're talking flamenco. That's coming from Spain, that's Western music too. Anything west of India, Iran is west of India, So it's like, if you meet, so one of the things you notice here is that when I'm singing in the Carnatic style, it's very staccato. Don't go straight for you. There's a lot more of this melodic thing. That is because the tabla has so much sustain. When he plays a top, there's a redoundant, it has a faster attack. So there's a lot of rhythmic complexity that is based on mathematical innovation. Because the instruments don't have to have that much sustain, because the music doesn't need it. Another big difference that's often overlooked is that, if you're playing kind of Vilambit or Madhyala, Vilambit means slow. So the tempos, which are very important in Hindustani music, can be a lot slower and then incredibly fast. Whereas in Carnatic music, it's the kritis or the kirtanams or the ragantana pallavis, it's mostly Madhyala. It's always moving in this, whereas over here you can go dhi, na, dhi, dhi, na. That quarter note pulse is so slow. You won't find that in Carnatic. You won't find that in most music. It's really slow. So fundamentally,
Question for both of one each for both of you. One is that personally I haven't seen an instrument like this. So if you could elaborate something about your instrument. And secondly for you sir is that I have myself learned a little bit of Kathak. So from Banarasi side itself. So just a little bit. But I wanted to know that how Kathak might have influenced the tabla styles, or is it the other way around? Like, did you talk about how temple traditions have influenced tabla styles? So, was there also a role of Kathak or how that developed on the style that you play, or was it the other way around?
See, the Banaras style, like how it came, it's very much connected with Kathak, because Kathak also came from the temples and all. But later on in the Mughals era, it's changed a little bit. But particular Banarasi style, it's too much in Kathak. Like whatever, if you learn like Jhata Kathuga, all that things, it came from that style also, and that's why all over the world Banaras tabla is very much into in Kathak. I was working from last 12 years together with Maharaji in Mumbai Kalashram. Now he passed, so I'm not working, but I played a lot with Kathak because that particular style goes very good together with Kathak dance. So I work a lot with Kathak, and you can say that yeah, we have similarity which comes together with Kathak.
oh yeah, this instrument. Okay, where do I start? Well, as I mentioned, I started with the guitars. Just brief history. I mean, it's not like a big deal, I started with guitar. I'm a kid, growing up in Jeru, playing in metal bands and rock and roll, which I still love. I've had a metal band in New York City and we tour but then I wanted to study serious Western music even before I got into Indian music, by the way. Like again, I'm talking about the likes of Mozart, Beethoven, and counterpoint, and polyphony and those kind of things. Because I grew up around that music. My dad used to travel all over the world, and back then the CDs used to bring them back home, and we used to listen to a lot of Debussy, a lot of Maurice Ravel, a lot of French, Tchaikovsky, Russian composer. So that made an impression, but it was impossible to learn that music in Bombay back then. I'm talking like mid 2000s kind of thing. But I knew I wanted to be in music, and coming from a musical family, it was important to be in music. I didn't want to do anything else. I mean, I gave it off. So my father, took me to a concert of the great Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahib, the greatest. And I saw that, and it immediately changed my life. And I put the guitar down because I can only play one instrument at one time. I can't do the whole multi-instrument list. I have to dedicate my life to one thing. So I picked up the solo pretty seriously, and I gave it many years, toured all over, had the pleasure of playing with great tabla players, and serious classical music with the Mahal Purana, Baba Alauddin Khan's Purana. And my teacher Ashish Khan used to take me to Mayur in Madhya Pradesh. And Alauddin Khan Sahib was left-handed. And so I'm left-handed. So I had the honor, really, and just the life distinction of practicing on his suburb, And that's like practicing with Beethoven's piano or something, And but then I moved to New York City, and then again that thirst of just wanting to study serious Western music, along with the Indian thing, because as a composer, it's as much as at least you try to know. Knowledge is, I'm a seeker, So that whole Western thing came back to me, and of course, on the Indian instrument, you cannot do that for the life of you, Again, we're talking about restrictions, and So I needed a solution for my mental health musically, because when I was playing the solo, I was missing harmony in the guitar, and when I was playing the guitar, I was missing the ragas and the talas. What do you do? So
performing at Kala Ghoda Arts Festival today?
Fantastic. We love it. And I feel always so happy when I play together with Anupam bhai. Since we met, actually, we feel हम लोग कुछ कुंभ में खो गए थे और अभी मिले हैं वापस. That's how we started in Frankfurt, and our soul was together. The first time we met and we performed, and since then we are performing together a lot. So thankful to Kala Ghoda bringing us again together this year.
Please tell us about your collaboration with Kala Ghoda. How has it been?
Oh, it's been fantastic. This is our second year in a row. And last year we played as a Kalki trio with Pandit Amit Mishraji over here. And our other brother Swami Salvaganesh from Chennai. And we had a great performance. And then it was very, very nice of Vrindaji and my good friend Anusha Srinivasan Iyer to invite us back. And we're just happy to do this. We did the thing at Cross Maidan on the 2nd. That was also a lot of fun with Tal Kravitz from Israel. And of course, I'm playing here. And today was more of a workshop experience, so it's always fun. Always my childhood city. I'm always happy to be.
We need more festivals like these.
Of course.
You know, I've been on my annual India festival tour with Aunt, and I was playing the BLR Hubba, Serendipity before that, in Delhi for another festival. And it's just like India is growing at such a fast rate with amazing festivals that you do not even see in the West anymore.
Yeah.
Even America, even America doesn't have as many cool, diverse festivals. Not just music, painting, art, food, talks. It's just it's really growing, and it's great to see that my city of Bombay is keeping up with that. All the new festivals are always welcome because for us musicians, that we play more.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Vedant.